Good morning, Final Fantasy Randomizer community. Here we are on Speed Gaming Prime, ready to have us some Final Fantasy action. This is going to be a pretty, I'd be willing to say a real barn burner of a match here this morning. We got wab1024 versus Zen0bian, two fantastic players, kicking off our long day of Final Fantasy here on the Speed Gaming Network. I am looking forward to this and how interesting this is going to be. We do have, in case you're curious, two drafted parties right here. Thief, Fighter, Red Mage, Black Mage. This is going to lead to some interesting results here. Good bit of power, good bit of running, good bit of magic. This seed could go anywhere for the two of them. I am joined in the booth by Caleb here today, this morning, however you want to put it. Caleb, you there with me? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Dark Moon. Welcome, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, to our first episode of FFR in the morning.
Yes, the community reference. Love it.
So I just dropped the gate for our runner, so we're gonna get off and running here.
Heck yeah. Look at that.
And
on time. We rock.
Find out what's for sale. Ooh, we're gonna be locked out of heal 3 and harm 3 until promotion. Fire 3 and Brack's going to help us a lot in the early game. Fire 3, the weakest of the level 3 sweepers, but good enough to do some serious damage, and Brack, we already have a kill condition on Tia and Kraken.
I mean, it's the thing of, yeah, you don't really need to use it in areas like Sky Palace and the seafloor and all that, just because the monsters are going to shrug it off, but Fire 3 this early in the game is good for basically all the packs, and it's especially helpful against the undead you're going to be seeing over in Marsh and Ice Cave, one of which is incentivized. I honestly really love seeing Fire 3 this early.
Yeah, it will make, if we have to go into the if we have to go into the Marsh Cave, it will make that so much easier, like you pointed out. And
yeah,
the Thief getting punched down early for Wab looked like he might be trying to put Thief to sleep and just run the 3-man party.
Meanwhile, Zen0bian seems to be doing that ever-elusive imp grind. Like, we don't get to see this very often.
Yeah, this is something that I'll usually do in a race. You pop in, you take one fight just to get level 2. He's going to level 3 here to get a few more spell charges, so when you get to Provoca, any magic that's there you'll be able to buy and use right away.
I think he got caught by back-to-back fight, so it just basically, he was there, just take it. Something...
Yeah, Imps with Poison Touch. It's a mild inconvenience, but we got Pure Pots for sale pretty cheap.
Real cheap, yeah.
Nope.
The one thing to note about this early area, your healing is going to be whatever the Red Mage can do right now, because there's no heal pots for sale here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I suppose you could take a gander over to Provoke if you want to, but Temple of Fiends is right here. That's slow going away from it.
And Opal Shield for Wab here in the bottom left. That's going to be nice for some early game money if that sells for a couple thousand gold.
I don't think I'd... I'm sorry. I don't think I'd keep a hold of it. Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, that will fund our early magic purchases, at least through level 3. Level 4, the prices start getting a little high, but...
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think I'd even keep a hold of it, even if I'm like, well, I've got a fighter, because, Aegis and another Opal are still sitting out there somewhere. The odds of you finding one of them are pretty good.
Yeah, especially even barring finding one of those two shields, being able to find an ice shield, a flame shield, heck, even a silver shield is serviceable in the end game. Just you want something in that slot.
Yeah, you throw a ribbon on there, and whatever elemental protection they have isn't really like a big issue anymore.
Mm-hmm. So Wab, our first runner on screen to down Garland with the Fire 3. We get the early key, we get the early Oxyale. I love finding early key in these seeds.
It's kind of a double-edged sword for people that don't have a lot of levels yet on their party, because key's really nice to be able to check all these treasuries and get them out of the way, even if it does potentially lead to a triple dip of Dwarf Cave. Ooh, there's a ribbon right there in that armory.
Yeah.
A
rune sword.
Well, there's that thief getting the swords that we were talking about before we start our broadcast. Yeah, the downside of having the key, though, is that you're sitting there going, I have to go dip Key Lug Marsh, don't I?
No, I never consider that. I look at early key as 6 boxes right away in Canaria, 3 boxes in a grind tile, to check in Temple of Fiends, 8 boxes in Dwarf Cave, 3 boxes and 2 spike tiles in Northwest Castle. All that access to potentially early gear. We get a ribbon, we get some money, we start funding our early seed here. So, and if this is anything like the races I was calling yesterday, we might even see like a 3-eye tile in Northwest, in Temple of Fiends, so we can get some real early levels and really speed up the back end of this seed. If we can jump to level 15, level 16 within the first 20 minutes, we're gonna be cruising.
Yeah, I was thinking mid-teens myself, because it's just you're so early in it right now. If you go to mid-teens on a good grind tile this early, you'll be in the 20s for Topher by the time you're done with all this.
Yeah, and things are gonna start running from you. You're gonna be able to run from those encounters that you would be taking for XP, such as the and Sea and Sky, and you know that should anything prove to be too scary, you could always come back to that grind tile if it's in Northwest or Temple of Fiends and get some more levels later in the game when you have more key items and you can get that XP a little bit faster with the XP bonus of 5% per key item. Zen0bian gonna check TOF locked. I like the play. Spike
You're here.
A little scary. That's a spooky spike.
Well, that's what the thief is for, if he can just run away from it. There you go. Good thief. Yeah, I mean, you're here. I actually kind of like this play, because you're pretty well assured that the other opponent isn't going to do it, because most of us don't tend to think about coming up to Topher until we have to again.
And Wab getting the canoe from Bicky, so access to another key item check down in the Crescent Lake area, as well as potentially Ice Cave. If what we're going to find out here in the level 2 magic, if we get a warp or something here, we might see an early life for the fighter, or I'm sorry, for the knight and the red mage is going to be nice.
That's good. That's good. Good to have in the pocket. There's your warp. Warp and Ice 3 and Temper. Woo.
You couldn't ask for better level 2 magic right there. Temper, we're going to have a ton of charges of it. Ice 3 to get that early sweeping through fights like this Nightmare fight. And Warp for the early sort of maneuvering and navigation through the world. So really good level 2 magic. If anything, the red mage is kind of hamstrung by too many choices. I
think that's it's actually... the fact that you have so many good options there is a bit of an issue for the red mage, but I do love it for the black mage, because it's like, as you're done with one spell, the next spell kind of comes into fruition for you at that point, because your warps are only really viable when you need them for the mid game, and then Ice 3 is really good past that point, and then Temper for the end game. Like, that is the perfect mix of black magic. Just try and decide which one of those you want to drop for your red mage, so you can also have life. That's a Sophie's choice right there.
Zen0bian, I've taken a lot of those Nightmare Evilman fights to see what was in that second box, and finds a katana, tries to walk it out, wipes out, and thinks better of it. Maybe come back here when we've got access to warp or exit, and the ability to take on that fight. Not much doing here in Matoya's Cave. Silver Shield, a little bit of money. Still working on trying to get that thief put to sleep. And the Gerwolves doing their part, throwing out a blizzard. And that's going to be a wipe. So not even going to go back and open those boxes again. Nothing really worth taking out. So,
well, knowing that the Gerwolves have blizzard, that indicates a couple of things to me. One, Earth Cave is going to be ugly because they show up regularly in there. And two, the Marsh is a no-go for me at that point, because they're down in there too, and the last thing I want is to get like 3 steps from the exit and to suddenly get pounced on by Gerwolves and just get blizzarded back down. I think I'm holding, especially with having the canoe and warp at my disposal right there, I think I'm doing a counterclockwise run around the entire Circle C and hoping that something I need to get out of here is in one of the other dungeons there, because I want nothing to do with those Gerwolves now.
I want to give a big shout out to everybody joining us in chat today for our first episode of FFR in the Morning with me and Dark Moon. Thank you, Infets, for the subscription to Speed Gaming. Really appreciate that. We got Min the Mage and Cyrinus hanging out. This is going to be quite the race. We got local baker Zen0bian going to be sharing his recipes for success, while veteran player Wab going to be checking in with him, seeing what his thoughts are on the the current conditions down in Sea Shrine. But first, here's a look at the weather where you are.
That was too perfect. I couldn't interrupt.
It's funny how all that stuff just kind of gets queued up in your brain from watching enough daytime television. So we're getting a dwarf check. We got some camping equipment, 9,000 gold, 400 gold, good money. So all those spells in Elfland we're going to be able to buy. That's worth warping out of. Look at that, 25k. And if there's a shop item down here, that's going to be that we just funded that our early adventure here.
Yeah, no, the counterclockwise play is seeming more and more viable. You get to check all these chests along the way, and then wander into Volcano and Ice Cave and just get them taken care of as well. This is beautiful right here. This is my exact kind of scene.
Yeah, and we got Sleepy Osor in chat wanted getting the itch to play some FFR. You absolutely should. You should join us on the Discord. We got all sorts of resources and links to get you set up, get you learn how to play the game, whether it's you want to race competitively, you want to play casually, all sorts of wonderful information, lots of people there to help you out, so you definitely should check us out on the Discord. And Zen0bian going to get his information here in Matoya to get that silver shield, a little bit of resources early, and we're going to walk it out. So silver shield worth keeping for Zen0bian. And somebody go wake up Dangwu. We got a level 3 cake and nothing else worth buying there for the Black Mage.
I mean, he does love his status effect spells. Rub and Stun, I could see him making a play on any of those, as silly as they are.
And Cure 3 for the Red Mage. Really nice early magic here for the Red and the Black Mage. We got Brack, we got Cake. We have healing magic now. We've got the resources now to dive down. We got Lock and Lit 2 here in Black Magic at level 4.
That's really the best magic we saw at level 4 in total. So, yeah, I mean, I take Lock, because Lock is always useful against the bosses. And I mean, Lit 2 is a sweeper. Yay.
Yeah, and we get... It's expensive to buy houses this seed, so unfortunately we're in the middle of a housing bubble at the time, so 4K houses, basically. Not going to be buying stacks of 10 of those anytime soon.
No. I mean, if you find a good grind tile, you can get yourself up with some money and then maybe pick up a stack or two, but that's a long Galaxy Brain play right there.
Alright, so the Keylock's not showing off much other than a bunch of money early on, and Zen0bian gets Fire 2'd by Arsahags. That's good information to have that Sea Shrine might be a little scary when we find that unrunnable Wisahag pack, but we just found our first loose and the Ninja Starter Kit with a Ice Armor Flame Shield Vorpal. That's
lovely.
The richest Elfland armory I've seen. Like, we might have to leave them a note that we took all that stuff.
I took all your good gear. Deuces. No, yeah, that's actually, knowing that the katana is up at Topher at this point as well, I would probably stop worrying about any swords for the end game at all. Like, as soon as you have a good gear build out and you're in go mode, just go pick up the katana on your way past, save outside afterwards, throw a Vorpal on your fighter, throw the katana on your ninja, and you're good to go for the rest of that dungeon right there.
And if we happen to find Excal or Masa, that's just icing on the cake. Throw one of those onto the fighter and give that Vorpal to the Red Mage, or even be a little cheekier and give the Masa to the Red Mage and let the fighter with his big boy hands hold on to that Vorpal, because he's going to be the most effective with it.
Yeah, I think that's honestly what I would do, just because he's going to get more damage for the critical hits that he'll get, and more swings for the critical hits. And that's basically what the Vorpal is good for, is you do it for the critical hits, so you may as well power them up.
And question in chat from the Space Drake, was this a party draft? Yes, it was. We had our runners draft this. Zen0bian picked first, grabbed a Red Mage. Wab answered back with the Black Mage fighter, and Zen0bian, the cheeky little baker that he is, said, okay, let's bring a thief into the mix too.
I like that. I mean, you already had 2 mages in there, you don't need another mage. With the fighter, you don't really need the black belt. Thief is just like the default choice for me at that point, because I want that run chance.
And Zen0bian grabs his early chime here. Slab from the Old Men. Still looking for that canal. We got a lot of places to look for that. We didn't get the lucky We didn't get the lucky canal and the key lock, so it's either volcano, ice cave, or marsh.
And I want to point out that there was Zen0bian went up and spent a little time over in Topher trying to get those items out there from the key lock space, and it felt like he was kind of behind there, but he is quickly putting on the afterburners and catching right back up again. He's at like less than a minute probably behind at this point.
Yeah, if anything, that's the difference in our runners right now. And Wab taking a little grind out here outside of Crescent Lake, trying to figure out what he's going to be doing. Level 7 now.
I mean, I don't hate that. You've got a fire sweeper, an ice sweeper, and a lit sweeper, and you're right there at a town. The experience outside of Crescent is pretty decent. It's not like pop level experience, but I mean, for a quick 2 or 3 fight mini grind, I would do this in a heartbeat.
So,
if
Darkwing, you have the canoe, you don't have the canal, you have the key, you have the access to volcano, ice, and marsh. Where do you go?
Volcano first, just to at least check the treasury floor, because it's also a faster journey to get there than to go to Ice Cave. And if there's something decent there, or I have just enough levels that I feel comfortable with it, I'll just go and I'll immediately try and like do a suicide play against Carrie, because Carrie in these flag sets has been surprisingly squishy for most runners.
Mm-hmm.
Just take her out, get that crystal lit, and then as I'm moving on around, hit up Ice Cave afterwards. There's enough treasure chests in the whole of Volcano that you might find a second loose right there. There could be the floater sitting over at Ice Cave or another loose there as well. Like, the play here for these 2 dungeons, just treasure-rich as they are, seems like a no-brainer to me. And the second you get that floater, you don't even have to worry about that ship anymore, and you're out. Who cares about the canal anymore?
Well, I am going to respectfully disagree, and I hope my opponent Cheesenator isn't watching. We have level 2 warp, level 1 fire 3. With that thief, I might try to break into the ice cave. I want to prioritize clearing incentive locations first. So do a cheeky little warp trick. If it's floater, we're golden. If it's something like the bottle, something that we can't check till post floater, then we don't feel as bad about wiping out of there. But with warp, with fire 3, with that thief, an ice play, for my money, that's where I would want to go, because not a lot of people like to go there with how the varied enemies stack up there, the different scripts, how they interact, all the different enemy types. It can be very, very nasty play, but we find zombie Ds on the
I also want to point out that I just noticed there's like Harm 4 and Fade and something else. Oh, it's Fast over at the Black Magic shop here for level 6. Level 6 is also stacked. I don't normally buy much beyond level 5 even, because just menuing down to it is so slow. But that's the kind of level 6 I'm sitting there going, yeah, you know what? I might actually pick up some of those.
Yeah, and with that zombie D grind right there, it looked like they went down pretty easily to some fire 3 charges. That's a nice thing about them. Yeah, we could easily get some nice levels here and have access to that early magic. It's Wab into the armory here, finds a dragon sword, gonna get swords on both of his, and there's a second ribbon.
Ribbon. Wow. See, and this is why I like the volcano play over ice. And I don't even think of it as a safety right here. It's just, you're here, and when you're down at Crescent Lake for this, and the journey is just not that far. And because there's 4 different trap tiles in here, like, these grind tiles are phenomenal, like, a phenomenal chance of getting something good. That zombie D, for example, they're good to get you up to mid-game levels without, like, much of a stress, especially when you have Fire 3. Just go in there, do it, pop a house or cabin afterwards, and then continue your exploration here. Even if you don't go through the rest of the dungeon, you know?
Yeah, these chimeras look like they would be a nice grind too, but they rolled some health. They eaten 3 ice 3s before they go down. So
yeah, now I'm going over to the zombie D. Now I know that they're here. It's good when I have to go fight them a couple floors deeper, and then afterwards I'm like, not fighting you guys again. I'll see you over in Sky Palace.
And Zen0bian coming into the armory as well, so no one wants to go to ice. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a hard time, as it's not always we find a ribbon in the armory, so it's always nice when confirmation bias works out in your favor.
Ice and zombie Ds? Come on, that's some good odds right there.
Ooh, but Gargoyles with crack.
That's less pretty.
It is pretty terrifying, so we're probably just going to hedge our bets, warp out of here.
Yeah, instantly. Oh no, he doesn't have any more warp. What?
So we got the... Uh-oh.
Oh!
Fire 3
Oh,
could work.
okay.
Scorpion's
Fire 3
really
could work.
low. We get turn order. Alright. That
Okay,
bull
he'll get rid of the
may be a
scorpions,
problem.
probably.
May switch to... oh, he didn't pick up Brack, so just going to keep the Fire 3s rolling. And...
Okay, turn order. Come on, turn
order.
order.
Of his life with a bull here and gets through.
Yeah!
Gonna get some good XP
Woo!
there. Jumps up to level 12. Not even gonna risk it. Gonna heal up. And the Giants squinting at Zen0bian, dropping his fighter. Wow. So,
yeah, well,
Wab.
I know, Zeno has been training under Crab Cakes and Tyrannex for a while now, and I would say he's honestly at their level at this point. And that's the kind of thing where, you're sitting there going, why would I need 3 players? I only need 2, and I know where a Vorpal and a Katana are. Like, let's just use the spell charges for now until we find the tail and get some levels on that thief early. All I want him for is his hits.
So, the Argoyle's showing crack doesn't take it off of any other boss script. The bosses in the Temple of Fiends... So the 4 Fiends revisited, Warmech and Chaos all share scripts and spells with each other. So if something that they typically have, like a Cure 4 or a Crack, rolls out onto a common enemy, it's still on the boss scripts. As well as the 4 regular Fiends share scripts and spells with each other. So just bear that in mind. So when we start seeing nasty stuff, if we see an enemy with Nuke, if we see an enemy with Cure 4 with Crack, it does not take it out of the in-game pools. Now if we run into Warmech, and Warmech has Crack, then we can take one of the Cracks out of the pool.
We're also seeing a lot of beefy monsters here on the upper floors of Volcano. This really doesn't change my opinion about the play, though, of where you go and what you do, because most of these enemies aren't going to show up on the lower floors of this dungeon. Like, you get them out of the way now, you have a good idea of some of the stuff you might go see over in Sky, and then afterwards you're like, cool, that was a fun dive, let's go into the bottom floors and see where things are a little easier.
So, Wab gonna orphan the hairpin chest and the long hallway chest as he makes his way to the ice cave. So,
he's making your play.
Yeah, the Argoyles with Crack were enough to keep him away for the time being.
I mean, they're only really up here on... I'm sorry, they're really only up here on this top floor.
Yeah, but it's also going to put it in his back pocket, in the back of his mind for Temple of Ordeals later, because they show up in larger plaques there too.
Mm-hmm. That was a thought consideration that I had that I'm glad you mentioned, is that it just tells you, oh, Ordeals could be painful if they happen to become the common enemy there.
Yeah. So far, the only other really nasty scripts we've seen the Gerwolves with Blizzard and the Giants with Squint. The Giants with Squint might be a problem in Earth Cave if we didn't have 2 of these ribbons and access to the Pro Rings.
Yeah. No, I mean, those help a lot, and it's the early defensive armor has been fantastic. It's crazy good for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is almost a perfect thief seed with the early katana, the early ice armor flame shield. So once we promote, that ninja is going to be stock, lock, and ready to rock. Mm-hmm. For right now, the fighter can wear all that. And the Vorpal katana, we've got our in-game weapons for this party. X-Cal and Masa will be nice, but we can make it work. We've got access to fast, we've got access to temper. We've got Wraiths with slow, just kind of trying to slow play Wab as he dives through this ice cave.
Yeah, I don't think you could have asked for a better mix of armor for the particular party they drafted, and then the magic on top. Ooh, that is
damage
ugly.
Poison. So
that's ugly enough to give me pause about this ice cave. Perfectly honest, like the stuff we were seeing over in Volcano is one thing, but those wraiths, they show up throughout this dungeon. That's gross.
That is
that's just straight gross.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
And the wizards rolling high on HP. I saw one of them take a lightning 2 for over 110 damage, so you hate to see that too.
Yeah, this is something that's making me go. And it's not confirmation bonus or a bias in this point. This is the kind of thing where I'm sitting there going, even if I'd made the early ice play, I'd do 2 dives. I go, okay, I'm doing 1 more, and if they continue to be particularly ugly, I'm out because this just isn't worth the amount of time it's going to take to get in here. I'll do it later.
Yeah, and unfortunately, these wizards are unrunnable too, so we're going to have to deal with this if we're going to commit to this dive.
Yeah, see, I would rather have the levels I could get over at Volcano and come in here when this dungeon feels a little safer. Or just way later, and maybe even just go do a Marsh play at this point, because it feels safer right now. That's
Yeah. And chat pointing out, we got Split Punch in chat hanging out with us. The wraiths don't just show up here in the Ice Cave. We'll find them later in the Earth Cave, too, when we go there. And with the spike tile shuffle, they could be on any one of those spike tiles.
This is definitely making me think, you know what? If I don't have to go to Earth anytime soon, and since I don't have the rod, I'm not going to. Like, that is just not something I'm going to want to do. I'm going to prioritize pretty much every other dungeon where these guys don't show up. Because I believe damage poison is... I mean, it's not an unelemented spell, I don't think. I think it is a poison element. But
it's a status poison skill, so it can be resisted with a ribbon. It just still does a truck ton of damage.
Yeah, and and they show up in like numbers. At least 3 usually when they appear, and they can be way more than that. And it's just, even when they show up as 1, that's ugly, but damage poison is just a nasty spell, no matter when you see it or how much defense you have.
Yep. And we're just holding our breath that we don't see it on another enemy, and to let us know that it's on the Medusa script, where we'll have 3 enemies with that ability.
It's pretty funny when you see a pack show up and you're like, oh, thank God, it's only Frost Giant Frost Wolves instead.
Well, that Fire 3 is going to trivialize this fight a little bit. But
they rolled kind of high on health.
Yeah, Frost Giants rolled high on health.
Looks like Zeno is maybe taking a few of these zombie D packs over at Volcano because they're easy enough to kill. Yep, he's doing it. The thing to note, if you're paying attention, is the fact that he's going up and down on that spike tile because the tiles along the wall there with the door, they don't have any encounters. Anytime you come across a room with a door built into it, all the tiles along that door are going to be encounter-free. So he can bounce back up and down on this and just get zombie Ds till the cows come home, basically, and never have to stress about it.
Yep, and we got Split Punch in chat pointing out that those Frost Wolves with heal 3 could be tedious later, and we get into the Temple of Fiends Revisited if they ambush us and just spam it. So, ice required with the loot there.
Required, but that's not exactly, like, super progression yet. Like, you need it, but it's not opening anything for you right now for the mid-game.
No, but you love to find it early, because the last thing any of our runners want to find is a loose loot.
I mean, it is right up there with the key essentially being the 2 items that would be the equivalent of the Link to the Past Ice Rod. Can be basically anywhere, and you're still going to need it to complete the game.
And Split Punch, given the chat curse to our runners, showing the tediousness of those Frost Wolves as they show up in a pack of 7, but we only get 1 heal 3 off before the Fire 3 rolls in.
And they don't have enough health that the heal 3 even matters.
Now, that Fire 3 will usually always make quick work of the Frost Wolves, so we're just going to do run, and we're going to run and gun, so run with the fighter, run with the Black Mage, have the Red Mage throw a Fire 3 behind her as we're getting out of here.
So we've got Zeno the Undead Slayer over on the other side. It has this party up to level 15 so far. I wouldn't be surprised if he just burns out the rest of his Fire 3 charges and then exits the save. Fire 3 is pretty well useless here in Volcano once you get past the first couple floors. And then he'll have, like, levels at that point to go kill Carrie.
Yeah, and here it is. So,
yep.
Checking this six pack of boxes down here. A little bit of money, Silver Gauntlet. We're going to heal up just because we don't know what this spike tile is going to have for us. And luckily it's just an over and a creep. So,
yep.
Flame armor.
And a flame charge. I would sit on that knowing that we have the ice armor as well, because whatever like shield of that other element you find, then you can pair the 2 together, and it's like the perfect combo.
Well, yeah, and we had that in the Elfland Armory with the ice armor and flame shield. So now we find the other one, and we have fighter and ninja being able to rock the elemental resistance.
Yeah, you keep them both around, pair them up together. They're glorious. I love that. Yeah. Love that combo so much. Ooh, Cerberus, that's a nice pack. Like, he's running from it, but that's one of those ones that I know is actually worth decent experience, and I would take.
Yeah, and we've got the Ice 3 that would have probably got it done in one round, but running a little bit quicker.
Well, I mean, I can't blame him. He did just do that big zombie D grind to what, like 16, 17, something like that. Like, he has the levels for this dungeon. If he doesn't want to take it, I can't blame him for it.
And Wab, 3 boxes to go. Aegis Shield, nice find. And there's our another katana. So
don't even have to worry about Topher now.
Yeah, that TOF locked katana, and that's a katana that Zen0bian will get and gratefully pick up, as he knows he won't deal with that Nightmare Evil Man tile anymore.
Yeah, that's the instance right there where you're sitting there going, when are the devs gonna let me dual wield or like do like Edge over in Final Fantasy IV and Dart the second one? Come on, guys.
Yeah. I know that there has been rumblings of making an option where all gear is equipable by everyone. And there's our canal. So Zen0bian, our first runner on stream, to find the canal at right around the half-hour mark.
That actually would annoy me a little, because I'd be sitting there going, am I gonna have to sail around on this dungeon or this overworld? Really?
But it does give us our access to the rest of the world. We still would love to find Floater, but we can go do the Waterfall, we can go do Temple of Ordeals, we can go check a couple other incentive locations. We got the Oxhill, we've got access to sea.
And it really minimizes the necessity of ever going over to Marsh, because Marsh is unincentivized. Like, the chest density there isn't good enough. You've already found essentially 2 of the 3 loose in the seed, and there are so many other better options at this point.
Yep. Zen0bian going to check out what's behind the vanilla Agama tile. But going to heal up again, just because we don't know what's going to be here, and we can be ambushed on a spike tile.
He's made good progress. He doesn't want to lose it right now.
And it's just a Hydra, so
that's not so bad. Running from it makes perfect sense. Although he probably could have killed it in a round or 2 if he'd wanted. Ooh, Agama, and not even bothering, disrespecting the Agama.
Yeah, I mean he must be happy with the levels he has, knowing that he's probably going to get some more levels just inadvertently walking through. We're going to skip the red D, so we're going to gamble that box does not have our second loose. Now, I did run through a practice seed a couple days ago in a race with Dangwoo and Spellzap, and I believe Ben the Mage was in on that race too, where that ended up being Loose Rod in the red D box. So hopefully that's not the case here.
I'm okay with this gamble. You have 2 of the 3 loose in your pocket right now. I think it's fair to move on.
So we're going to fire out Ice 3s on Carrie. And we're going to swing that Dragon Sword. 2 hits 25. Carry shows Blizzard. It's fine. We have the elemental resist on the fighter. And we have the ribbons, it looks like, on the 2 mages, as that Blizzard really didn't do anything.
No.
And already doing damage. 3 hits 204. Carry throws out a hold. We're going to have to switch strategies here until that fighter recovers. 25% chance that fighter will recover from a stun every round that it's fighting. About 110 damage total from both those Ice 3s. We're chipping away here at Carrie, hoping she doesn't have anything too scary. Continue to punch that fighter.
Fighter got a good big hit in earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if this is almost over at this point.
Yeah, and we're going to throw out another Ice. 54 damage swing from Mirror. 2 hits 205, and Carrie remembers that she has Thunder in her spell list, so we're going to keep that fighter up, and we're going to keep plugging away. Waz throwing out the Cure 3s, playing the heal. So Carrie rolled well over vanilla HP.
And she's got a deep list of spells and skills.
So we're switching to Lockstraps. We're going to try to lower that evasion as much as possible. And Carrie punches Waz pretty hard, but good armor all around. Another lock goes off. Another temper comes in. Big swing here from Mir. 3 hits, 550. Fighter doing work. And Zen0bian lights his first orb here at the 33-minute mark.
Well, I don't want to curse them. Let's wait until... There we go. Just want to make sure he didn't get some nasty encounter right before the end.
Yeah, that's fair.
Suddenly, Race with Blizzard show up in the volcano. And
So right now, the difference between our runners here is Wab's Ice Dive and Zen0bian's staying in the volcano to clear that out.
For a quick grind. I think time-wise, the two of them are going to balance out depending upon what Wab decides to do, but Zeno is in a much better position if and when he decides to go do that ice cave, just because he has so much more health and defense.
Yeah, and they have similar levels, but Zen0bian's, like you said, that little grind that he did on the zombie D is going to give him a slight advantage going into
Well, let's
the
not
ice cave.
downplay.
Yeah.
Let's not downplay the fact that he's not even bothering to care about his thief at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He is just he's gonna be rocking this 3-man for a while, and that's gonna dump experience on the other 3.
Yeah. So splitting the XP pool amongst 3 light warriors, and it looks like Wab is committed to that as well now. So, question from chat: did Wab skip Brack? He did. I'm assuming he'll go back for it. Early money was tight, but once we started opening boxes, we found all the money in the world we wanted. But I think it was just he bought spells before TOF. Post TOF, we had all the money in the world. Wab gets his canal.
It's one of those things where, like, playing the game in vanilla, I didn't give much consideration to the instant death spells at all. But once you realize how good they are at taking out Tiamat, and especially Kraken 1, you're just like, why did I ever not use these? Like, I can get this over in a couple of rounds instead of sitting here for a long slog as the Master of Arms slowly destroys me.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like the Brack strats on on Kraken and Tia. And I love using Cake on Lich. Lich usually not a problem either in the Earth Cave or Temple of Fiends Revisited. We have seen seeds where Lich 2 can be remarkably scary.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, Cake going to be a little bit quicker. But sometimes you just fire off a Harm 4 or a Fade and Lich will fall down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Lich 1 definitely is a case where you fire Quake because it's funny, but you're just going all-out damage for the rest of your guys. But Lich 2, sometimes that Cake is the best option you can do, because, as you said, occasionally he comes out with, like, first turn nuke and a ton of health, and you're sitting there going, where did this come from, Lich? When did you get swole?
We got Burt Reynolds showing up in chat. Good to see you, Burt Reynolds. Checking in, watching the race before he races later today. You're going to be racing at 12 p.m. on Speed Gaming 4. We're going to be on Speed Gaming 4 all day today. And Burt Reynolds, our first race at 12, taking on Rojo. That's going to be an exciting race, so be sure to check that one out. And there's Wab gets the 3rd ribbon. So not essential, but at the same time, if Zeno knew it was there, I think he would have gone for it. Yeah. The other upside is that Zeno, with 2 ribbons, won't be opening boxes once he hits go mode looking for a ribbon.
Yeah. I think the only thing he's really worried about at this point, and I will admit these games are all running together in my head, I don't think they found Dragon Armor yet, so if he finds that, that would be a nice piece of gear, or even just an Opal Armor. Like, there's like one little bit of kit he might still want, but you can make it through Topher with just Flame and Ice Shield armor set. It's like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, we got the Flame, we got the Ice Shield. Even if we get to promote, we got the Aegis. So
yeah, if you promote, but that's also the thing. It's like, how much do you have to promote with? How key is it to you? If you find the Maza, and with the party and build out that he has, promoting may just be too long a walk to be worth it.
And as Zen0bian picks up his loot, Wab having a different kind of carry fight, just loading out tempers onto that fighter. Carry not showing the nasty skills that she's holding with the thunder damage and everything. So ice. Now we're switching to ice 3s. We think we got enough tempers into her. She shows lightning too. So this carry spell happy. Another ice 3 comes in. Expecting a big hit from the fighter. 3 hits, 386. We're gonna keep firing off those tempers. Not happy with the damage output there. And not happy that Carrie's still alive, but there it is. 3 hits, 371. Wab with a quicker, cleaner carry kill. And lights his first orb at the 38-minute mark.
One thing to note, doesn't look like he picked up Lock. Whether he realizes that we have Lock fixes on, and Lock will always hit, or if that's just not a spell that he's used much and isn't comfortable with, or just prioritized money. Not sure about that, but Zeno fired the Lock off, and you could just see the difference right there. He was getting like 5 to 6 hits per round, while Wab was topping out at only 3.
Yeah. And that was an adjustment that Zen0bian made mid-fight, going from 3 hits to 5 hits after, I think, 2 locks. So those each lock cast will melt half of an evasion stack from an invis. So if you think about 2 locks as 1 invis, so it will take several locks to drop a max evade boss, but to make something just a little bit easier to hit, so we're getting more than 1 hit, a handful of locks is all it's going to take. And I love the lock fixes being 100% chance to hit. I know some people talk about it's a little bit too much of a buff to the spell, but considering that it's eating up a round of resources for your mages that aren't tempering, that aren't throwing out nukes, like you're forcing them to just melt those bosses a little bit more. It does kind of change strategy in the late game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It just having lock in your spell pool means that it's 1 more spell slot you might not be able to give to something else. So, like, you're having to play the long game on that. How much is it more worth it to me than something else? What do I want to use it for? When am I going to use it? Because it's only really useful for like bosses. Like, especially lock 1. There's not a lot of viability for it outside of boss fights.
So, outside of the Circle C here, we don't have a Ruby, so we can't do the Titans, we can't do Sarda. We have access to the top 2 floors of Earth, we have access to all of C and the first 2 floors of Mirage, as well as our ancillary dungeons of Waterfall and Ordeals. We still need to find a vendor item, which could be in the caravan, and it could be an on-rack. If we don't see it there, we know it's going to be in Gaia. Where do you head next if you're WAB getting ready to break out of this inner sea?
I look at the direction that the seed has been pointing, because so far the seed has pretty much given us direction on where to go the whole time. Practically, like, linear, essentially. I'm going to follow the route that makes the most sense. I'm going to hit Ordeals, then I'm going to sail over to the on-rack area, I'm going to do Waterfall, and then I'm going to do on-rack itself, and if I don't find the item in there, like the shop item that I need, and I don't find anything useful over in Mermaids, well, I think if I don't find the shop item regardless, I'm also going to check the caravan, and then hopefully between all those checks and the mermaid floor, which is incentivized, I get most of what I need to finish this out and move on with my life. Yeah.
And I think for the most part, if I'm Zen0bian or WAP, I think we have everything that we need for the end game gear wise. I think it's just a matter of finding that tail, finding that floater, getting that cube, getting that rod.
Yeah, because we're just a couple of items away at this point from go. Cube and rod could be anywhere right now as far as like the just incentive. Look up, I'll try to buy a gold bracelet.
They're pretty pricey.
They are. Yeah, so it's like you hate like knowing that the slab is there, like in your inventory. You're sitting there going, "Well, I need the floater to turn that in," but you might not. With only 2 levels, with only 2 key items to go, you could go floaterless potentially at this point. That was a Life 2, and then a Lit 3, and a Bane here at level 5.
Yeah, so if we needed more reason to find that tail, there it is. Life 2, locked behind promotion for their Red Wizard. Lightning 3, locked behind promotion for both the Red Wizard and the Black Wizard, as that is the vanilla warp spot, the 3rd slot in Melmond. Did have access to Bane though, but we have the level 1 Brack. We won't really be relying on Bane at all, unless we find a Bane sword.
Yeah.
And we've got chat talking about the upsides to a black belt grind, and with these spike tiles being shuffled to have the random B-side formations, as we like to call it, the black belt is a little bit more valuable in these seeds as compared to 2019 spring tournament. As WAB's headed into Ordeals, I like this check. We've got the level 2 warp. We should be able to get through this in a matter of minutes. Hopefully we don't run into those gargoyles with crack. And while the tail might not be needed here, it would be nice. It's one of those things that if we find it here in Ordeals or we find it in Waterfall, we may keep it. Just because there's no reason not to promote with all the wonderful stuff that we have. And Zen0bian getting his information here about the Life 2. We're going to see the Lightning 3. We'll see if he translates that slab. and moves on down to the northern continents.
I will fully admit I cannot remember like the level 5 spell slots. I've tried a couple times to memorize them, and it just always eludes me. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm here and I'm swinging past, I'll probably try and see if I can buy it, especially after promotion. But if I can't, if I don't remember it, it's like, at least I have life.
Yeah, so for level 5 magic, the top slot is always learnable by the red mage and white magic. The all 4 slots are learnable by the white mage. The second slot in white magic is learnable by the red wizard. So basically, top slot, second slot on promotion, and then for black magic, it's the top and bottom slot that the red mage can learn. So those middle 2 it can't learn until it promotes, and then the red wizard can learn all 4 of the level 5 slots.
Yep, I started to glaze over there.
Just remember, if you're a red mage, top slot, and then top and bottom. Easy peasy. And then promotion, 1 and 2, and then everything. But still no access, or we haven't found Fade or Nuke yet, so I'm assuming those are going to be locked out to level 7, which means our red mages isn't likely to get any charge to those.
I don't know that I necessarily would complain too much, though. You've got Temper, you've got Lock, there's Fast for the Black Mage. I mean, there's enough here right now, and especially with Life for the Red Mage, you're sitting there going, I feel like that's okay. That's not so bad. Like, if the Fade was at level 6, as our fabulous tracker Danny points out. So, I don't remember if the Red Mage can learn that or not.
And we get the bottle and a free white shirt here, as well as an ice shield. So that fighter ninja combo is looking pretty good right now. If we're able to promote.
That bottle, though, is making it more and more likely that we're gonna have to be like finding that floater and getting into the air to get the last of our turn in.
So we got a question in chat from Squenty Kustuin. Why red mage over white mage? The red mage has a little bit more versatility in its combat abilities. We have access to most of the black magic in the game. We have access to about 2/5 of, or maybe like 3/5 of the white magic early on, and we can swing weapons. We can equip a little bit of armor. It's a much more versatile character. However, if the good white magic locks out, you're a little bit better taking a black mage or a white mage, depending on the rest of your party loadout. But they do get good HP, comparable to the white mage. They are able to equip swords. Red mage is pretty useful.
He's good. I loved using a red mage back in the day. I use them a little less frequently now, just depending, but I certainly don't hate it when they come up in party draft. Because they have their benefits.
Yeah. And we even saw one of our spring tournament matches with one of our runners, Ikben Maya, rolled 4 red mages in his race against Ale. So that was a fun race to watch. So you can go hunt that VOD down. It'll be up on
That's
YouTube
amazing.
shortly.
Nice. I mean, what's better than one red mage? All red mage. Just all red. So, Wab's coming over here, gonna do a check-in at OnRack, see if the shop has what he's looking for, and it does. That's opening up more options, because the ruby right there in the shop opens up Titan's Trove and opens up Sarda. We may not have to go find that floater.
Yeah, so I think if you're Wab and you get that early ruby, do you stick around for Sea Shrine, or do you go do those quick 2 turn-ins?
No, you're here. You're here, and you want to be efficient. You go do Waterfall, you come back in, you do Sea Shrine, you go find out what's at Mermaid Floor first, and then you take those Bracks, if you have Brack, which I'm still not certain he bought, and you go and you kill Kraken. Because Brack will take... About Brack, even if you have to try a second time, dive in there, it'll eventually melt Kraken, you just don't worry about it. Kraken's a pussycat when you have Brack on you.
And we got a challenge brewing in chat between Trenton and Will Cleosis talking about an all red mage race. That's got to be exciting. Apparently, no.
Hell,
no
I kind of want to
no
own
Maya's
that.
allowed. No Maya's allowed.
Get that in the Iron Gall. Get both those guys entered in for that.
All right, Wab diving into the waterfall. Zen0bian catching up right behind him. Gonna go ahead and throw the fairy loose. So hope he remembers that you did that. Sometimes you see the bottle being released on accident, and Zen0bian gonna skip Onrak, so gonna get the information about the ruby after his waterfall dive. So I think best case scenario here for our runners in this waterfall is that we find the cube or the rod.
I mean, and here's the thing again. Remember, this is something I was pointing out earlier. Wab had a decent little lead there for a bit because of how long Xeno spent in Topher, but the way he's been playing it, the speed of his checks, that little grind he did to get all the levels he needed over at Zombie D's there, Xeno is quick catching up. He's within seconds of Wab at this point.
Mm-hmm. And checking out the waterfall cave, we got the tail, so not a required check here, but definitely quality of life check. And there's our first glimpse of knight armor with the opal armor here in the waterfall. So we're going to throw that silver gauntlet on the ground. We're going to throw all this superfluous gear down. We're going to grab that opal armor.
There you go. That's
Zeus
good
gauntlet.
enough. With his ribbon, that opal is definitely good enough because it's the same protection as a defensive-wise as a dragon. It just doesn't have all the extra elements because I think dragon does all three: ice, fire, lightning, and opal is just lightning. But
that is correct.
Ribbon does it all. Ribbon does it all.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yep. So, and with Wab having all three ribbons, he definitely won't be. If he finds the dragon armor, I doubt he will pick it up. So, still looking for a second loose, but we have access now to the Titan's Trove incentivized location as well as Sarda. So,
I mean, when I was
find a cube and rod there, we could end up floaterless and not promoting. If there's a loose floater somewhere in Marsh or Sky, or Mirage rather.
When I was starting off in this, I would have been like, I don't want to go to Sea Shrine right now. It's difficult and Kraken is scary. I'll go take that ruby and I'll go somewhere else because there's more checks I can make. But, you know, as you get used to this game and you play and you see how the scaling works, like at this point, yeah, no. I'm here. I just
out of bounds
bat. I'm here. I want to get that. I want to get it cranked out and out of the way. I'm just gonna do Sea Shrine because especially with it being incentivized, and I don't want to do this long sail and walk again. Just get it out of the way. Do it now.
Yep. And he's gonna drop some stuff in his equipment and pick up that opal armor, turning that thief into a backpack.
He's good for it.
Paperwork for promotion.
Is it signed in triplicate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important. Got the appropriate amount of cover sheets on that. So, get airborne, we will be visiting the Human Resources Department in Cardia Islands.
But remember, the office is only open from 8 to 4 on alternate Tuesdays and Thursdays, and
and with, I mean, the Light Warriors teleworking this week. Who knows if they'll actually be able to get into the office to turn that in.
Bahamut is considered an essential service. He's open.
Right, but, you know, we're in a state of emergency right now. If non-essential travel might prohibit us from going to the HR department.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Alright, so Wab doing the little warp to get away from that bottom corner and just save a few steps here, walking up to the incentive location on the mermaid floor. We do have access to exit with promotion. And there's our crystal.
There we go.
So this doesn't surprise us. We still have a lot of fetch quest items to find. So this crystal could lead us on a chain to the herb, to the TNT, to the adamant, to the crown. All of which is frustrating, but it's 5% XP per item.
I don't know, finding that crystal here is actually kind of nice. And the reason I say that is because all the turn-ins you have left to do are up on that side of the world. So, once you're done here, once you've taken out Kraken and checked all these chests, because you're here, you're going to check these chests.
Yeah.
I would sail up, I'd go do my Titan and Sarda turn-in, I'd skip over Earth Cave, because we know it's probably still ugly. Go turn in my crystal at Matoya, because it's there. If any of those lead to more fetch quests, I do those while I'm in the area. Just boom, 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 get them all cranked out, get the rest of them done, and then if I get Floater, then or I get Chime or something, I'm seriously considering Sky over Earth, because Sky maybe has what we need to finish this out, and it definitely has better gear. Or, I mean, depending upon where you're at, if you're in a good enough pace, you just go crank out both of them, go mode, and be done with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. You prioritize those key item checks, because we have 3 to do now. We have the Titan's Tunnel, we have the Crystal, and we have Sarda that we have access to, and we only need 2 key items. So
yeah,
odds are in our favor that we're going to get at least one of those items. We haven't seen the incentive Opal Bracelet, we haven't seen the incentive Power Bonk, and we're still missing the incentive Thor Hammer, but there's a good chance that both of those fell behind the bottle and the slab. So
good
at
odds.
This point, if you're Zen0bian and Wab, I'm curious if they're hoping for a floaterless seed, because it'll be a little bit quicker, a lot fewer checks to make. But you still, with all that wonderful gear that we have, you kind of want to promote.
I mean, if you end up with a floater,
go into Topher with just an ice sword.
Yeah, I'll do it if I have to, but yeah. But the nice thing is, with having all those checks over on that side of the world, if you do get the floater out of any of them, then you can just sail through the inner sea, right over to that river system, and you can drop the floater up without even having to exit there. Like, it's actually kind of convenient placement, all things considered.
Yeah. But we're going to see what Wab does if he's going to go back in. Yep, he's going back in. He's going to dive left side. Zen0bian clears the TFC floor. He's now going to clear out the mermaid side, so both of our runners neck and neck here in the same dungeon. Zen0bian maybe a minute behind Wab right now with these checks, and unfortunately it's going to be hard for Zen0bian to catch up here if he stays in Sea Shrine. He's going to continue lagging behind Wab until we see some route divergence here. Or Wab,
and the thing is, I was just going to say, the thing is that the whole of the seed, again, we have so many options here, but it feels like it's been a very linear seed this whole time. You've basically been directed to certain areas no matter where you go. The most, options that they had was whether or not they did Volcano when they were there, because there was nothing, quote-unquote, essential in Volcano for their exploration. But, again, they were both there. They both know, you're there, you can clear a dungeon, you clear the dungeon. So it was it's about as linear as it could.
Yeah. We're going to make use of those Lightning 2 charges at level 4 here, clearing these Arsa Hags. They have Fire too, but Wab, with all the cute hats in the world, not going to have an issue.
And Zeno saving a little time over Wab, doesn't even bother going out to save. He's just going to the other side, and he's going to continue this dive right now. That, if it works out, that will shave a few seconds.
And it looks like, we don't know. He might be walking over and then walking down and check that free box and then exit out, get his spell charges back, and then do the same thing that Wab's doing here.
Going for an early Brack there on the Grey Shark. I like that.
So, question from
level
chat
20.
Is Ice 3 better than Lightning 2 in this situation? Ice 3 has a larger damage roll, but the Sharks do have a do have a weakness to the Lightning, so while they don't have a weakness to the Ice. So
there you go, making the play you said.
Yep. And this makes sense. Get your spell charges, it costs you 15 seconds. Better to have those spell charges. Jay Coper asking me to do the math. I don't do good with head math. So
I
learned my lessons from Trenton.
Exactly. I follow the Trenton rule. You never do math on Twitch.
Yeah. I'll do math if I'm confident in it. I'm not confident in that math. There's 3 digits involved. So we're gonna check the Sharknado floor, see what's holding here.
They're those nasty Arce hags with some fire too. I mean, it's chip damage right now, but like a big enough pack like those, if they get all their shots off before you can really do anything, that's chip damage still hurts. Burt Reynolds in chat asking, at what point would you revive the thief for better running? At this point, never.
Yeah, I keep.
I mean,
he did his job in the early game. We can let him take the rest of the seed off.
Yep. No, I mean, if they'd had the thief up this whole time and he was getting levels and he was actually a worthwhile warrior, that would be one thing.
Ooh,
but at this point, thief's just not worth it. His run chance is great, but yeah.
Black shirt, a nice find here. Again, if we're able to find that floater, that black shirt will be valuable for the black mages or black wizards, as it provides resistance to ice and time elemental, as well as giving the same absorb as a gold bracelet. So
yeah, the ice protection was something that was pointed out to me yesterday during another seed that I commentated, because I'd always known about the time one. I didn't realize the ice protection was there, but that's really convenient. That's yet another thing to not have to worry.
Yep, and it's one of those things, it would be more beneficial for Zen0bian, because he doesn't have those 3 ribbons to get that black shirt if he gets promoted, because now he'll have 3 time resistance, so zap won't be a problem.
Yeah, and zap is always one of those ones that scares me when I see it in Temple of Fiends off of one of the bosses, because you're sitting there going, wait, no, come on, man. Yeah, it's just it surprises you because it shows up like so early for us in these games, but it's surprisingly effective against an undefended light warrior.
And we got a question in chat from Jay Coper. How do you think we'll see any floaterless seeds in this tournament? I believe we already did. I believe if you go back and watch, I think it was Cyranus and Ali Gerbrap. I believe they had a floaterless seed as well that they raced.
I think I've seen a couple so far. Yeah. I mean, you and I have been doing most of these matches at this point, so we get a nice wide view of everything.
I've seen a handful that could have been, but weren't at the last second. You know, or they got the floater. They didn't need it, but they got it and they used it. So
yeah, my opening match against Gregglypuff was like that. You get directed to the floater, but if you actually knew where the loose item was, you actually didn't need it. But it's one of those things of hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah. And Wab coming through the Kraken warehouse here. That room always just reminds me of a big open warehouse that I don't understand the point of what it was, but
yeah.
So going to be engaging the Kraken fight. This might be an opportunity for Zen0bian to catch up some time, as Zen0bian with the Brack strategies on Kraken might get through the fight a little bit quicker. So we'll see how Wab takes on Kraken here. But first we got to use those Ice 3s and get through these Sea Trolls.
Yeah, there's a discussion going on in chat right now about whether or not Temper can actually have an upper limit cap. I think I'd always been told that it was, but as chat is discussing and agreeing, the chance of you actually hitting the upper limit with Temper is really hard, because there's it does, like everything in the game has an upper limit. You can reach it at some point. It can't stack any higher, but it would take a ton of charges to get there that you're unlikely to see it.
Yeah, I would imagine if we had like an item magic shuffled seed, and Temper was an item, and we got into a fight that couldn't kill us and we just sat there and spammed it, maybe that we would see it, but we would hit the upper limit.
Yeah, Jay Coper asking if it would overflow like hit percent. I think all the overflows have been fixed in the game at this point, so at least in the randomizer version, it shouldn't overflow. Honestly, that's a question we should ask next time we have OFD in the booth with his spellcrafter option. Because if you get a Temper 8 on a couple of your characters and cast it, where it's casting a bunch of Tempers across all your party, you have to ask how many charges would it be to cap?
Here we go with with Poland Kraken, we're going to use the Bane sword on the Black Mage, and we're going to start tempering up that fighter. And the fighter, or the Black Mage, doesn't even get the opportunity to use that Bane sword as Kraken targets it right away, and we're gonna switch up strategies here. We're gonna throw out the white shirt. Kraken punches the fighter for 100 damage, not a whole lot, but no crits on that hit. So here come the evasion stacks. Our fighter isn't hitting too hard. White shirt comes out. We get decent turn order there. Another still hitting 4 times. No crits though. We're lucking out without the crits not hitting the fighter, but we're gonna need to get that evasion up quickly. 3 hits, 76 damage. We're doing chip damage here, but we gotta get this evasion cap before we can switch to temper. And Zen0bian down onto the floor with Kraken. Gonna try to catch up here. Is finally getting a crit with the fighter, doing 146 damage with that swing. Kraken punching at the red mage. The white shirts, we're getting there. I think that's the 5th stack now, and down goes Kraken. So not a whole lot of HP here. So Wab gets
that was basically the. I was just gonna say that was the fight that Zeno needed to see for Wab. Something that takes a little while to get through, so that he can then like come in and maybe quickly brack a couple times and be done.
Yeah, definitely helped that Kraken didn't roll high HP, evade, or absorb there. It's just if anything, it's just an example that giant sword doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but it was enough to get the job done.
When you don't have anything better.
And let's see if we see a very different Kraken fight, as Zen0bian has double Brack Blasts. I'm sure it's just going to open right up with it. So Bane, Brack, and Brack. So
yeah, Bane has
out.
I think it's a 16% chance to hit versus the 24 or so from Brack.
Ineffective.
But I mean,
first Brack ineffective, second Brack effective. There it is. So Zen0bian catching up, saving time on these boss fights with his Brack strats. And let's see if he is heading off to that Ruby. I gotta imagine that's where he's going.
Mm-hmm. That was a good minute shaved right there for Zeno. That helped him out a lot. Yeah. And I'm sure they're both gonna make this play here. Just go straight to Titans because it's what's next. So with that, we have our basically our players continuing to follow the very linear layout of this very linear scene right here. Going up to the Earth Cave area, Wab is getting caught by this pack of undead here, not able to get away from it, having to fight it. Fire 3, of course, is more than capable of taking out all of those guys in a single blast. The nice thing about Fire 3, as we were saying earlier, against weak undead, is you don't even have to stress over it. Wab turns in that Ruby. We're going to see where he heads. He decides to go do the Titan dip first, as opposed to going and checking Sarda. I've seen players play it both ways. Personally, I'd go do Sarda and then catch the Titan on the way back, especially when you realize that you have Gerwolves in here with Blizzard. Thankfully, they are running away, though, at this levels that he's at. But, well, not all of them. I mean, Blizzard is more of chip damage at this point, with the fact that they have all those ribbons and ice protections. Jay Coper in chat noting that Ruby is pretty strong in these flags. It is indeed, because of the fact that Titan is incentivized and Ruby blocks Sarda. Oh, but Ruby turns out to be on its own a bit of a womp right there. It's only leading to the Thor hammer.
Yeah, so we're going to see if Sarda is going to make it worthwhile. If Sarda's got the floater here, that Ruby is worth its weight.
I mean, if Sarda has the cube or the rod, I would also say that's the case.
But there's that fetch quest. So this isn't bad, because we're able to kind of sail back over. We got to walk back to Melmond anyway. Northwest Castle's right there. I would imagine we sail under the bridge, dock there, turn in the crown, and then go do Matoya. Actually, I might go a long way out and do Matoya first, just in case she gives us the TNT and Astos gives us the Adamant. We're able to go into Dwarves once. So that's probably how I would route this.
I think I would probably bounce it just a little different if it was me. I would hit the river system on the outside for Crown just because it's right there. Get the turn-in done so I don't forget about it, and then wander on inside the sea depending upon what I get for the crystal next.
Yeah.
Just a difference of opinion. I think the only thing is if I get the floater right there, I might still decide to sail around the outside and go
That's true,
do the
yeah.
floater turn in.
If Crown immediately turns to floater, you just
You go turn
bounce
it
off-
in.
Yeah, you go turn it in immediately, and
Because it speeds up all the rest of that.
yep, absolutely. And now we got Falconic hanging out in chat with us. So while we got everybody here hanging out in chat, our runners kind of cleaning up these fetch quests, I do want to let everybody know that today on Speed Gaming 4, we're going to have all kinds of FFR action coming for you. Starting at 12 noon today, we're going to have Burt Reynolds taking on Rojo at 12 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, I'm going to be taking on Cheeseinator. And then at 6 o'clock, Demon Frog is going to be taking on the reigning champ Crab Cakes at 6 p.m. And then at
That'll
8
be a
o'clock
real
tonight,
good one.
my buddy, our friend Dangwoo, is going to be taking on another old pro, High Spirits, at 8 o'clock. And meanwhile, we're also going to have a couple races on Randomania at 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock is going to be the power hour as Grindylicious and Demon RHK take each other on, and Sketchy Metal taking on one of the statistical favorites for this year's spring tournament, Spellzap. So be sure to check out Speed Gaming 4 and Randomania as all these races are going on.
Yeah, that 8 o'clock power hour is going to be phenomenal. So Wab, I think, is trying to figure out where to go next. Hopefully he hasn't forgotten about that crystal turn-in. We did get the cube here from the crown, which after I do my turn-ins here, if I don't find Rod, 100%, Sky is on the table. I'll just go in and I'll deep dive that until I find the Rod and then get a move on with my life.
Now I'm wondering if he's going to sail around to the dock at Mirage and then from there go south to Matoya. It's a little bit quicker and he doesn't have to go inside of the inner sea here to do that crystal turn-in.
It's an interesting move. I don't have the map memorized well enough to know that just instinctually. But you are right. That's just right there. You can do the bounce up and down.
Yeah, and I know a lot of runners don't like sailing into the inner sea if they don't have to. But if crystal turns to floater, it's still a quick check. So it looks like Wab is headed to that area. Let's see if he's going to go south or if he's just going to go right into sky.
May have forgotten about the crystal at this point.
I hope he didn't forget about the crystal. So let's see what he's going to miss out on, and it's the Rod. So that's
floaterless seed.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I mean, I think at some point he'll check his inventory and he'll see it, but it's the question of at this point, if Zeno the only thing Zeno's worried about is if he gets the floater, it's for class change. But Zeno's a good enough player; he may look at his gear and be like, "Okay, I just need one slightly better sword than Giant, and then I can get out of this."
This could all change, though, if Wab happens to find the floater early enough. It will be behind us. Not necessarily. It's not necessarily behind a series of fetch quests, because we still have the TNT, the Adamant, the Herb out there. But those could also be locking the bottle and slab turn-ins, too. So, as those could be the Opal and the... Well, those have to be the Opal and the Power Punk.
Yeah, those two are still floating out there at this point. We know what most of these turn-ins are going to be from the bottle and the slab turn-ins, but where the floater is and when it shows up and how useful it's going to be... Oh, that light axe is actually not a bad little find. It's not the best weapon. You really want an ice sword or something if you're going to have to play the rest of the seed out, but it's still better damage than that giant sword.
So Zen0bian, I'm sure, knows that he's in go mode now. And
Effective.
He's going to check these spike... I mean, he is in go mode. He doesn't need the floater. He doesn't need the tail. It would be... They're nice to haves at this moment, but...
Well, what weapon is he rocking? Is he still throwing the giant sword, or does he have something?
I believe he's still rocking the giant sword.
That is not what I would consider an endgame weapon.
It's not an endgame weapon, but I think he's go moding and checking free boxes and hoping that he finds Sun Sword or an Amasa.
Yeah, if I had that light axe in my hands, I might clench and try and do the play through the game for that. But the giant sword, I'd be like, okay, I just need to find something better.
Yeah, light axe is Will Cleos is pointing out in chat that it has one less hit than the ice sword, but it's It's not what
useful.
you really want to be going in with, but it's the best we've got right now. But Zen0bian doesn't have it, so.
Well, and Burt Reynolds in chat pointing out
everything.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds in chat pointing out the spell zap play. Scimitar is good enough if you try hard enough.
So less than greater than paying out with an ice sword. So our best sword so far, checking this top box. Back in the day it was the split punch check. Lately we've been calling it the Asher box, so not much doing there though.
Nope. He decides it's not worth it.
And we're gonna warp out, drop a house, and I hope he caught a glimpse of that crystal in his inventory as he kind of hung on his item screen there for a little while. Zen0bian NPC guillotine win as he got Jake Operbat a little bit there.
There are some greed chests here that I think I probably would have hit that Zeno didn't, just in the hope that like Mazda or something shows up, because he's got a ton of great endgame swords. He just doesn't have a way to use them right now. Like Excal and Vorpal and Katana all sitting right there in his pool, and he can't do anything with any of them, and that hurts. That's a little sucky right there. Yeah.
And nothing but wooden gear so far on this Earth 3, so I'm curious if Zen0bian's going to check that 5-box cluster on Earth 4. He's got the warp to make it a little bit more of an efficient check.
Yeah. I mean, I like that play. And I think with the warp there, that's actually worthwhile.
Uriel Man X7. Floater is loose, I assume? That seems to be the case, as we have found the loose chime in... Where the heck was the loose chime? It was early. It was in the
Ice
Armory.
Elf Locked, yeah. Yeah, it's floater is loose or sitting behind a loose. I think that's pretty much where we're at this point.
Question in chat, what was in Marsh? We have no idea. Our runners were not required to go to Marsh as Vicky gave us the canoe. We found the canal after the key from the king. So we haven't stepped foot into Marsh. So the bottle was in Temple of Ordeals.
Would not surprise me at this point if Floater was actually in Marsh, but at the same time, meh. I'm not like, it'd be great to have for all that great tail gear, but still, like, I think they could finish it with what they have, essentially. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if I'm Zeno, I'm maybe even contemplating maybe just go check 1 or 2 weapon shops, find a silver sword, and then just be done with it.
Silver sword is a gutsy call. Let's see what these 5 boxes hold. And Earth, nothing. Lab checking Sky. Looks like he's still in full clear mode.
I mean, he has to be. Yeah. He doesn't realize the rod is sitting there behind Matoya. Not that I think that's... Oh! Well...
There you go. So...
That changes that math for him.
The vanilla Banesword chest holding the Masa, so Wab gotta feel good now. And yep, still gonna be opening boxes because we don't know that. Well, we don't know, and that's that.
Yep.
Crystal will turn into the rod.
Now, I don't know if you're one of the kinds of players that will check that box normally. I know there's a lot of people that subscribe to the check left or check right on this floor as the quote-unquote greed, because the chest density is better. That, like, for me, when I'm going greed chests, I tend to skip that bottom one, which obviously would hurt this time around. How would you play it?
If I'm in Wab's shoes and I think that there's still a loose out there that I need, that's like a loose rod, then... yeah, I check it. But it looks like he is hedging his bets a little bit. Those. And there's the loose adamant for Zen0bian and Earth 4 in the very last box. Ooh,
well then, that changes his math.
We have... we're going to have a run here, because Wab's going to put it together that the crystal is the rod. He's going to figure it out. And
eventually, yep.
And Zen0bian's going to spend a little bit more time full clear. Oh, doing the promotion, equipping all that gear. So this is going to be an interesting race. We were expecting Wab to find the floater, not Zen0bian to find it here in the basement of Earth 4. So rod-locked floater. It's exciting.
I mean, it makes a good case for the skips that he did and the way they did, because he hit the chest dense rooms first and then just skipped everything else. And for Z, yeah, he's going to spend a little more time doing his turn-in and everything, but he's going to have the floater. He's not going to have to sail around, because, at a certain point, he's going to just do that turn-in and he'll have everything. His upgrades will be done. He's got more endgame gear that he can count for. Wab has the Masamune to balance that out, so I think we're going to see a very close Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, this is going to be very tight race here as Zen0bian taking on Lich, and Lich surviving one round. Gonna see if it survives the second round, and it does. So we're gonna keep laying into Lich here. 3 hits, 20 damage. We're leaning on Fire 3 here, and Fire 3 gets it done. So at the hour 19:30 mark, we've got 3 orbs lit.
So, OFD in chat asking whether or not we actually needed floater for this seed. No. Wab can actually finish this out right now with just what he has. It's just most of the gear that we found is really good for a fighter, or for the knight. And so, while it's not essential, it kind of still feels essential to be able to get the floater and do your turn-in.
But Zen0bian will miss that Masa. So even if he's checking greed chest, there's no way that he really checks that bottom one-off chest.
Yeah, but he's got
Warple.
X-Cal, he has Baby's first sword. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Oh, I missed him pick up the X-Cal. I know that he had the Vorpal.
Yeah, I can't remember at this point where it was, but I saw him grab it, so I know he has it.
Okay, so here comes our fetch chain as Adamant turns to Herb.
Of course, discussing Vorpal, we now have the ever constant discussion in chat about whether or not Vorpal is really a weapon at all. I'm gonna skip right past that.
I mean, it's definitely a viable weapon. And the race that I called last night with Falconic and Ailmark, and we got to see the Vorpal do its thing, and it was quite a fun Temple of Fiends to watch.
Oh, since OFD is in chat, this is a question that was asked earlier. With the Spellcrafter that you have, if you get a Temper 8 or something, can you actually max cast Temper to the point where the stacks no longer matter? Max cast it to the full stacks? We'll see if he answers that. And there's that floater.
Yep, and so pretty good proximity for it too. We're able to just kind of cut across this open field. And get to the Ryokan Desert. So Wab almost finished with his full clear here of Sky. And
and there we go. OFD. I'm sorry. OFD does actually tell us that you can actually max cap your temper if you do it with a high enough version of the spell, which Spellcrafter, one of the options in our alpha and beta section, does allow for. So there you go. There's your answer. You can actually cap temper. There's that nuke you were talking about being at level 7.
Yep.
It's interesting that Zeno seems like he's actually going to go do this bottle turn-in.
Yeah,
I mean,
might as well. We're here.
Maybe he's hoping for the opal.
Yeah,
It's not the only thing I can think that's worthwhile.
Well,
I mean, power's okay.
Power bonk would be worthwhile here.
It's okay. I tend to find that I get it, but I also tend to forget it exists. So when I'm in the heat of battle, I'm like, would I rather do this, or would I rather just swing and do more damage?
All right, so Wab gonna head on up to the Bridge of Destiny. So if you want to see a robot friend, let's get those blessed RNGs in chat. He's going to be finishing up the rest of Sky Palace here as Zen0bian is cleaning up his floater checks.
Yeah, Zeno's basically going to do his tail right here, and then I think we're going to see him just straight push the pedal to the metal now, because there's barely anything he needs at this point. 2 ribbons, good endgame gear for the night. He's got all his go mode items. Like, if he does any checks in Sky at all, I would be seriously surprised.
As Wab just dealing with what looks like unrunnable errors, just frustrating him, burning his resources. And now we get the great equipment shuffle of 2020 as Zen0bian moves all of his stuff around. Equipping the Vorpal, equipping the Katana, that means we're probably going to wake Tay up here.
I mean, I could see him wake him up for the end game. Like, oh hey, you're a meat shield who has a katana. Why not? There's not a whole lot that he can do, because he didn't get much in the way of levels, but, I mean, if he gets a swing and he does a few points of damage, it's not the end of the world.
And how we're gonna move some stuff around. And not gonna equip the armor onto the ninja just yet. So just equipping the katana. We'll equip that ninja when we revive him. And Wab across the Bridge of Destiny and right in front of Tia's door gets the war mech, gets the first turn run though.
Runs from it. Ah! Come on! I mean, that's fair. Wilklius is pointing out in chat he has to run. There's absolutely no choice. He didn't have the resources.
Gonna try to make it work.
Zeno's still doing those checks. Clearly still wants to make sure that he gets the power bunk and or the opal bracelet.
And we're going full Bane strats here on Tia 1. Looks like we ran out of healing, and we're just going to be tempering up that fighter in the meantime. Here comes a damage poison. Those 3 ribbons keeping everyone alive. Tempers flooding into fighter. Now we're gonna switch up the fights. And we're gonna switch up to that white shirt, and we're gonna start firing off some chip damage with Fire 3. Moss's swing, 4 hits, 174. Fire 3 doing its job, 25 damage. Down goes the red mage. Tia punching real hard, so didn't get the evasion off with the white shirt. This could be trouble for Wab. Wab getting punched, 174. We gotta start doing damage. We gotta start doing damage now. 4 hits for 460. Fire 3 coming in. Gonna do some chip damage. 50. Good roll there. 169. Fighter can't take another hit though. We got 4 hits and 208 coming. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna switch to the lightning too. Gets the turn order. 4 hits. 456. Let's see what Tia does. Tia punches out the black mages all right here. Tia gets the initiative, and down goes Wab.
That hurts. That really hurts. All those levels, all that gear he just got, that Tia was not playing around. And this is something that we were discussing earlier. While Zeno gets the Opal O over at Lufane, the lack of Brack and the ability to cast that for those 7, 8, 9 rounds he was in that fight for really hurts him.
Yeah, those airs chewing up his resources. And gonna jump right back in though. Upside, we know what boxes to open. It's just one. It's just south of the teleporter on Sky 1. Grab that Masa and just beeline for Tia.
Yeah, nothing else there was essential.
So this should at least be a quick recovery for Wab. Maybe a total time loss of about 2.5 minutes. As Zen0bian getting slowed down by his administrative work here, just doing these last few checks. He's back into Gaia, buying spells, looking for a place to sell all this stuff. And
selling all the ninja gear.
So that ninja is not going to come back up. We're selling everything.
Yeah. He just didn't care. He wanted the money, and that if that ninja comes up, it is solely to serve as a 1 hit point meat shield.
Yep, we're gonna stop in a Crescent Lake and we're gonna pick up that fast.
Getting those level 6 spells because they were really good. Good thing he remembered those.
Yep.
Oh, Cure 4 was here as well.
Yeah.
Although
Harm 4, the only spell in White Magic out of reach, and didn't check Black Magic, so must have forgot that fast was available. I can't see him skipping that intentionally. Unless he did.
No, fast is Especially because some of the bosses in Topher can actually have slow 2. Fast is one of those like absolutely 100% essential spells. The last thing you want is your one swinging warrior to just get knocked down with a slow 2, and then he's just hitting for one hit and however much damage. That fast is essential.
Yeah. And Uriel Man in chat saying, and before he finds 2 katanas, well, we found 2 katanas. We found one in the TOF locked, and we found the second one in the ice floor in the 3 little chests right before the exit. So, and we knew that the katana was available early, and we still, both runners here decided to keep their thieves down. So I think this means that the TNT has to turn into the power bonk. So Zen0bian will have that where Wab likely will not. If Wab remembers that the crystal is sitting in his backpack.
Yep, and you can just see Zeno is straight up pedal down on the floor. Oh, the Germaduces are unrunnable. That'll spell interesting for the earth floor as well of Topher. But, I mean, we don't even know if they have anything because they instantly melt under that Fire 3.
Yeah, Fire 3 is going to be super effective against him. And Zen0bian skipping that Masa like we knew that he would, just because he did not know it was there. So, Fades and Nukes coming out, so we don't have a whole lot of resources here, but Zen0bian in a little bit better position for this Sky play. We know that Tia can be scary if we're resource deprived. I bet you if Zen0bian finds Warmech, he may give it a go just to kind of test his party against what those Fiends Revisited might do to him. So,
well, and it's also just good experience. I mean, he's still low 20s.
Oh no.
With the gear that he has, he can do it, but oh not no. Again.
So, more unrunnable airs for Wab here on the Bridge of Destiny. Get those Bless RNGs in chat. We got Zen0bian getting ready to come up to the Bridge of Destiny. I wonder if we'll see a Warmech on his screen.
And let's just point out, Zen0bian's Red Mage is incredibly stacked right now. Opal O, Pro Ring, Pro Brace, Pro Cape, and the Ribbon. Like, that is the beefiest bit of armor you could ever get on that Red Mage. He is good to go.
Red Mage rocking the best in slot for everything. In the professional outerwear.
He's got his Under Armour on. He's good to go.
Outfitted in a collection, with the spring collection from Final Fantasy Randomizer. An opal bracelet accented nicely by a professional cape. It's all tied together with a cute ring ensemble with a professional looking ring.
He is just absolutely working it on that floor.
Yeah, and on the catwalk. Wab does his little turn on the catwalk and pulls Tia once again. Here we go. We know what we're up against. We're gonna throw out Bane Swords with the Black Mage, swinging right away with the Masa. Bane Sword comes out ineffective. White Shirt getting that evasion just to protect our Light Warriors a little bit more. We're gonna fight and swing. We're gonna use that White Shirt, and we're gonna throw out another Bane Sword. I like the strategy of mixing up instant kills with damage, hedging our bets just in case that Bane Sword doesn't work. We're doing consistent damage. In case that fighter goes down again, we'll be able to chip away a little bit more effectively. Another swing here. Already Tia being truncated with the damage by that White Shirt evasion stacks. Bane Sword coming in, still ineffective, but we're in a good place here. We're swinging, and now we're going to start tempering, throwing another Bane Sword as Zen0bian going for the Brack strats. Here's the poison damage that started the problems for Wab last fight. And we're still, this Tia is very high health, but we're keeping the Bracks coming on Zen0bian's screen, keeping those tempers coming. Poison Smoke gets it done. Here comes a Brack.
And
broken into pieces. Near simultaneous kills here as both of our runners light their fourth air orb simultaneously. Zen0bian, that's his fourth orb. He's going to be headed into the Temple of Fiends Revisited here any minute. Wab needs to look into his inventory, needs to see that crystal, needs to go to Matoya. And it's getting a little mixed up here.
I can kind of feel that he's like a little on tilt right now, and I think I would be in the same position. You spent so long in there, you still don't have the item you need. to finish this out, and you don't remember that Matoya is your last turn, and like that's nerves right there getting to him. It does not surprise me at all.
Oh, I think he saw it. I think he saw the
Nice.
crystal, and he's coming back. So
good.
Zen0bian keeping the door open a little bit longer, heading down to get that power bonk, just because he does not have.
Hooray!
And hooray! He does not have that masa. So we're going to do a cheeky little river dock here and go into Matoya.
It's a smart move. I
love this check here.
I honestly feel like, this is what we often call the veteran move, for remembering that you can do this check this way from where you were at over at Sky.
Mm-hmm. And here he goes, turning in that crystal, gonna get that incentivized rod. He hits his go mode at the 1 hour 34 minute mark, warps out, knows he's got to stand on the gas pedal, and we're heading to the Earth Cave as Zen0bian still doing these last minute checks. I like it. Wab, veteran runner, been out of the game for a little while, not afraid to take a couple seconds, look at the map, and make sure that he is routing this as efficiently as possible.
Mm-hmm. And so this puts him in his go mode, and I would not be surprised at all if he's just like, okay, the gear I have with that Mazda, it's just gonna have to be good enough.
Yep. Heads up play for Zen0bian, knowing that heal pots weren't for sale in Canaria, stopping into Elfland to pick them up. And now we're gonna head to provoke him by that life magic for the night.
I like the sailing out of here to get over to this side of Matoya, but at the same time, I really hate sailing this part of the world because the whole long peninsula that comes down with the Earth Cave and Titan, it's a pain to get around.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that the Canaria continent and the Melmond continent are connected by that impassable mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
We need a walking path through there, Win.
A bridge or a canal or something right there. That'd be fantastic.
And Zen0bian going to come back here and get his revenge on these nightmares and evil men for some last-minute levels.
Surprised. I think his levels are good.
He must feel ahead if he's going to stop here for a grind, and it may come back to bite him because Wab's going to be coming in right behind him. Their levels are kind of similar at this time, and Wab with the Masa.
I mean, he's got Vorpal, he's got Katana, he's got Excal. I like his chances.
Yeah, it's going to be.
And he's going to have serious levels.
If anything, he's leaving the door open for it to be a close race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Thunder, good to see you joining us in chat. He's going to want those charges on the night for life.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, and that makes this grind perfectly understandable. It's a good grind tile right here. You can just pop in, pop out with the house afterwards. And if he gets enough levels to get him the 4 charges of life, then that night is entirely worthwhile.
And Jay Coper pointing out in chat that for Zen0bian, it's hard to close that door as he just keeps bouncing back and forth. So Zen0bian leaving the door open for Wab, literally and figuratively.
But life charges on the night kind of helps to make that worthwhile. The last thing you want is to get down to Kraken, and then Kraken wipes out 2 of your party members, and you're sitting there going, so I have to do Tiamat and Chaos with just the night? Ooh.
Yeah.
This, though,
So, how high do you go if you're Zen0bian here?
It's 8 levels from class change to get the 4 charges. I don't know how many levels he got in.
So it's not 8 levels from class change. It's... Yes, it is. I lied.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Every other level.
Yep.
So, I mean... Personally, I think I would, if I'm going to do this play, I would just go until I burn out those ice charges, and however many levels I get is what I get. I don't think I'd want to dip in, do it, and then have to dip in again.
Yeah, I don't think you need all 4. I think you need just at least 2. You need 1 just in case Kraken goes sideways, and 1 in case Tia goes sideways. But you can reasonably assume that you'll get through Lich and carry with your red mage alive.
Mm-hmm.
Reasonably assume.
Reasonably. That's fair.
And he might be
Yeah, I mean, look at
just burning the ice 3s and seeing
yep,
how
seeing
far
where
he
he
gets
gets.
after all
I
the
mean,
ice 3s are gone.
it's still giving him a level basically every fight. Like, and that's a key qualification for me. Like, I'll stop doing a grind like this when it stops giving me like levels every round. But right now it's still viable. So
yeah. And that Excal's gonna do pretty good for him in Temple of Fiends. So we see that the knight has got 2 life charges now.
yep, that was his check.
So we're gonna
Feels like 3 might be better, I guess.
Yeah, burn the rest of these nukes and fades, and then get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And meanwhile, Wab onto the vampire floor. So Zen0bian finished with his grind. That was enough for him.
High, like mid to high 20s. Yeah, that's more than enough levels here.
And I like that move. He kept 1 cabin just to keep his heal pots in line, and he's ready to go. So 1 hour.
He'll be able to really. Oh, sorry.
1 hour, 39 minutes, 20 seconds. Zen0bian is in. Immediately sees unrunnable frost. He just says, "Let me try this again." So 1 hour, 39 minutes, 30 seconds. Zen0bian is in. Zeno.
Got a question from Wilkosis. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna answer. Go.
Rocking the Excal on the Knight, rocking the Vorpal on the Red Mage. I'd imagine we'll see a switch when he gets to Tia 2.
Yeah, because the Excal's great up through Kraken, but once you get to Tia 2 and Chaos, they don't really care about the elemental bonus damage that the Excal can do, because they don't really suffer from it. So at that point, the Vorpal makes more sense.
And if anything, we might see... if Zen0bian bounces hard off the bottom of this Topher, we might see him take that Knight up to 34 just to get that extra Vorpal swing. And wonder if he'll go back and look for fast. But I imagine that's only if we take 1, maybe 2 wipes here. So far nothing scary. I'll make it all the way to the Phantom Tile, only seeing a couple fights, all of which are runnable. And Wab onto the Lich floor. Alright, big fight here with just the frustrating heal 3 Frost Wolves.
Zen0bian gets ambushed by a 4-pack of zombie Ds. That's, time waster, but not that scary.
Yeah, chew up a little bit of time, a little bit of those heal pot resources. Wab swinging with the Moss of 4 hits, 308, swinging ahead of the Tempers. So I imagine now we're just going to fight and we're going to respect Lich a little bit. Use a white... Oh, nope, we switched to Fire 3. Big roll there, 270. Another big hit, 4 hits, 681. Wab lights his 4th orb, 141.20.
And you can see right there, like, just how quickly this is getting back into position. Zeno made a smart move there getting those lives, but at the same time, it's a factor of that was a bit of time wasted that let Wab basically go through all of Earth on Go, and they're only going to be 3-4 floors between them. Like, 1 bad wipe and Zeno's actually behind.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Wab here is that Zeno is better prepared with everything else. He's got the better armor, he's got the better spells. So if Zeno bounces hard off here, Wab's got to hope that he gets lucky through his dive.
Well, that's the thing. Whatever bounces Zeno is even more likely to bounce Wab with the worst gear and not quite good levels. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Wab's been playing this game a little bit longer. He's been away from it for a little bit longer, but we'll see if his veteran knowledge starts to kick in as he's been de-rusting through this entire run. So I'm excited to see what Wab's got in store for us.
Also, unfortunate thing for Wab, he's here in Melman, but he still can't use that Life 2 that I think was lurking here, because it's just blocked to his red mage. He really needed that red wizard.
Yeah.
Gold bracelet pickup, though, that's going to help him some.
Question from chat: where was the floater? The floater was behind the adamant, behind the herb, behind the adamant, which was found in Earth 4. So floaterless seed here not required.
We got a Lich 2 pull.
Lich 2. So Lich fires off with Crack. Luckily, we got enough MDef on that Black Wizard to eat that Crack and doing some damage. Fire 3's coming in. Did about a total of 600 damage there, it looks like, between the swings and the Fire 3s. Another Fire 3 comes in, 144. So this Lich got a little bit of health. Vorpal swinging 3 hits, 105. Nuclear comes out. able to soak that as damage, and then X-Cal comes in and finishes off Lich. So, pretty scary, skill-happy Lich, but taking Kraken, one of the nuclears out of the pool is nice.
Oh, it's very useful. There's, what, 3 left, I think, and then 3 more nukes? Some of which may have been on a war mech that, Xeno didn't see and Wab ran from.
And Zen0bian, onto the fire floor, steps away from Carrie. Wab looks like he's headed back to Crescent to pick up fast on the Black Mage.
Xeno does get a 4-pack of fire elementals right before this, easily gets away. Now at the Carrie fight, 4 hits, missed how much damage that was. She comes out with Blaze afterwards, getting the temper shot off. Fighter is going to be much better prepared for this on the second time around. Still swinging that X-Cal, but X-Cal's still viable for this fight. Not a big deal. Gear 3 comes out just to make sure Fighter is good to go. He didn't heal beforehand. 4 hits, 423, much better. But the Black Mage is down from a big shot from Carrie. 4 hits, 418, back from the Fighter on that X-Cal. Takes out Carrie. That's 1 more Fiend out of the way. 3 to go for Xeno in this fight.
Yeah. And Wab, looks like Wab picked up fast from Crescent Lake, so that another difference between their dives when Wab gets into TOF.
I mean, Wab's spending a lot of time doing this, but Wab needs every advantage he can get, and clearly he knows it.
Yeah. And Zen0bian getting slowed down by this seafood party pack. Well,
just not letting him get away.
Yeah, ambush, but then gets the first turn run, so... Let's see how he approaches this Kraken 2 fight. See if he sacrifices R2 and throws him up front.
I would. I think at this point you move Fighter down, you keep Fighter and Red Mage in the safe position, and you throw Black Mage up as your sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I think he even res Tay there and keep Tay in the second slot.
Yeah. Yeah, just a 1-point ninja just in case. Because if Kraken first turn swings, then you want the ninja to take that hit.
Yeah. And we're going to throw out some heal pots, reserve our spell charges, and keep everything a little bit of disrespect here on Kraken. And we're going to open up all damage, fades, nukes, and swings. Fade
Xeno does nothing of what we said.
262. Yeah. X-Cal, 3 hits, 163. Punch there from Kraken. Knight's able to soak it. Nuke for 172. We're going to keep that coming, and we're switching to nukes on the Red Wizard now. So double nuke. Knight takes another shot on the chin, but that third nuke's enough to get it done.
Kraken didn't have... I mean, he was, decent on health, but not a whole ton. The all-out damage play was clearly the right choice in that instance.
Yeah, and here comes Wab at 146.15, coming in just about 7 minutes behind Zen0bian. And Zen0bian gets to find the resource-eating unrunnable errors.
But he has the nukes and the fades to cast for this, and I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad for him. Does decide to use the Fire 3s instead, because, why use Brack at this point? Brack is basically useless. I think it has, a 6% chance against Tiamat? Better off with the Fire 3s.
Yeah, just burn through this chip damage.
Mm-hmm. And they're already in range of that X-Cal taking them out in a single shot, so this won't be much longer.
Yep. And Wab coming in also off the hard reset, didn't reset out of the unrunnable Frosty, so he'll be on he'll be on the same encounter table, but he'll have probably 30 more steps on it, so might not see this air fight on the air floor. So
they just do not want to die. They really are resource eaters.
Resource, and our greatest resource right now is time.
Yep. Yeah, you've got to feel like that Xeno's just sitting there clenching his controller going, let me out of this fight! Gonna take a moment to heal, that's smart, and then we're gonna be right into Tiamat 2 here. The last of our second to last of our 2 fights. Getting into Tiamat 2 right now, immediately swinging, doing his nuke, doing another nuke, still remaining with all-out damage, not even going to show any respect to Tiamat by moving his characters around. 208 from the nuke, only 34 from that fighter hit, that was nothing. And then Tia swings back with a big shot against the Red Mage. Gonna start tempering, trying to decide what he wants to do next. Nuke, swing, tempered nuke, Swing comes out for 48 damage. Nuke comes out for another 206. And Tiamat had no health right there. That was glass cannon. She could swing, but she couldn't take it. Yeah.
So let's see how the rest of this air floor goes for Zen0bian.
Nothing.
So luckily no more airs to slow him down here. Bab's going to hit his Mad Pony tile. And Zen0bian, final preparations.
Caleb, you want to take this one?
Sure. So we're taking Chaos, not rearranging the party. We're going to open up with a Power Bonk. We're going to open up with Locks and White Shirts. Slow 2 comes out right away. It hits the Red Wizard, so we get lucky there. Wab, invalidating his run, finds a heal helmet about $1,900. Lock comes out. We're going to keep that Power Bonk going. We're going to keep the Tempers flowing, and we're going to fire off another White Shirt. So we're going to want to hit Evade Cap with the White Shirt. It's going to take a little bit longer, but if we're using that time to buff and temper with bonks, and it's going to make that fighter hit real hard. So Wab warped out, going to check these spike tiles here and take some levels. So not confident with his party layout here, as Chaos keeps rolling in with Lit 2s. Keep those Power Bonks coming, keep those Tempers going. Now we're switching to ooh, there's the Nuclear. Chaos pulling out the stops. He's ready to go now. So chip damage coming in Ice 3. I think we're going to switch to offense now. And here comes the Cure 4, the Swing, and more Tempers. Good turn order here so far for Zen0bian. The punch comes out, and we miss.
Start casting those locks.
Start casting those locks. We need to melt this evade. This is a very high evade Chaos. 2 locks in, we're finally able to start doing damage. We got to keep more locks coming. This is a very evasive Chaos. Chaos with Bane, we're good. We have 2 ribbons and an Aegis shield equipped. Locks coming in. 4 hits, 832. Now we're rocking. We're gonna keep them coming though. That was a lot of crits here. Another lock lands. Here comes a big hit there. 4 hits, 679. Now this Chaos is in our sights. We have locked up, melted up enough of his evasion, and this Chaos has a lot of health to match this evasion. Lightning 2 rolling in. We're going to just wait now. Interesting choice to wait, as here comes the nuke. We're in man mode time. Time to stand on that gas pedal and hold that A button. And there it is. 4 hits, 979. Zen0bian finishes first place with an official FFR bot time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 0 seconds. Zen0bian. I'm not going to join us for an interview. He has to go to work. Told me I'm fired in the chat, so must not have been happy with the way that this siege rolled out for him. But GG's to Zen0bian. And double check that he doesn't want to do an interview. Alright, so while I don't think Zen0bian is going to join us, I think he's definitely on his way to work. So it looks like Wab is going to finish this out though, so he's going to want his... He might be in a little bit better spot for this Chaos fight. He doesn't have the armor, but he has 3 ribbons, he's got the Masa, and he's got the fast charges.
Yeah, now that he's doing his dive, I mean, one thing is here, he's close enough that finishing it out makes sense, but it's also a matter of, pressure's off now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him do a dive. If he gets bounced from that dive, maybe just be like, okay, that was enough, I'm out.
Yeah. And for the most part, we saw that nothing was really that terrifying in this Topher, other than Lich opening up with the crack and the nuclear, and then that Chaos with the super high evasion and the slow 2 nuke combo. That could be bad.
Yeah, if that slow 2 lands on the wrong guy, I mean, Zeno lucked out there. If that slow 2 had hit on his fighter, ooh, that would have been a very different fight. But he's still trucking along here, doing his thing. He's proven that, you know, most of what's down here should not be any problem for him.
I'm gonna let you call most of this. My throat's a little raw.
You are good to go. That is not a problem. So he's stuck here with these Frosties right now. Gonna have to fire cast them because they are unrunnable. And they are doing some serious work on his mages. Thankfully the Zeus Gauntlet seems to be finishing them off after a couple blasts of fire. Gonna get through, gonna have to heal up, use those precious resources of which he only has about 80 heal pots left. Try and get through this, and he's not even to the fire floor yet. This is rough. Just shows an example of how, like, the slightly better build-up Zeno had that he took the time to get, that Opal, all those pro ranks and everything else, that little bit of an edge sometimes really can matter here. Other direction. Oh! And it gets caught by the Chimeras. And they are just not letting him get away. More of these unrunnable Frosties. This floor here is just not letting him get away. It's a ton of resources that's using up on him. So yeah, it looks like, I don't know if you mentioned, Zeno is definitely not coming in for an interview at this point.
Yeah.
Understandable. I mean, yeah. it was good of him to get this crammed in when he could. I'm sure, like, as I think we've all experienced, trying to schedule these races in and around normal life is just really difficult. Even in the best of circumstances. So now he's caught by these rock galls. Looks like he actually wants to take this one because the experience off of them is good, and experience is something he desperately needs right now. Thankfully, their Lit 2s are not going to be anywhere near as effective as a straight punch from them, simply because of the fact that they have all those ribbons. One more swing, just go punch happy with even the Black Mage, because who cares? Mazza takes it out, that rock gall is down, and now it's level 26. That's some nice health and experience right there, but it does mean more heal pots he has to burn, and he's already down past the halfway point on them. And unfortunately, things like Cure 4 were beyond him, as far as I could tell, because that was Red Wizard locked, I think. Oh, and the Mud Galls are unrunnable. No! Ow! Big hits! Those are more resources he could not afford to lose right there. Thankfully, the last Mudgall misses on his hit, and miss again.
Yeah, these Mudgalls...
And with that fight's over.
Mudgalls
not playing around.
Real hard. And
yeah.
So, unfortunately for Wab, he just keeps finding these resource-draining encounters.
Doesn't even heal the fighter after that. Still above 300. As long as nothing has a nuke right now, he'll be okay. Oh, the Forsaria pack. I believe this is an Encounter 8 on this floor, because we didn't used to see it, and now the Encounter 8s work. It's a fun fight. He doesn't need the experience at this point.
So
Another bit of chip damage?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. No.
It kicks in.
So, I mean, there was barely anything to commentate there. Lich is already a puff of smoke.
Massa doing Massa things.
I mean, he's got the levels right now to get a good amount of hits out of them. Needs to not see too much of this Red D fight. Needs to get away from it. And yeah, you feel free to jump in anytime you want, Caleb. I mean, I just know we're trying to save your throat because there's more going on after this.
Yeah, we'll try to. We got another race starting here in about 2 minutes on Speed Gaming 4. So after Wab finishes his run, we'll see if we can get a raid set up to take us over there.
Do a quick final thoughts with him and then move on.
Yeah, Carrie.
Yeah.
That Masa.
Nothing.
Taylor
Yeah, that
Tucover's
Masa
here.
is just... Yeah, because Zeno had to spend time on every single one of these fights, even Lich to a certain extent,
Yeah.
but that Masa with those extra hits is just blasting through these packs.
Yeah, we'll have to reference this VOD when it comes to comparing Masa versus Excal.
Yes. Absolutely. Unfortunately, all of these monsters seem to have just enough health to survive two separate Lit 2s right here. I mean, the Wizsahags can roll high, but it's resources.
Yeah.
Again, where it's always like, this is just more resources he's having to burn.
Yeah.
Thankfully, so far, those glares have not been hitting.
It's interesting that he's taking the fight and not trying to run. At least with the Black Mage.
Yeah.
I guess he wants
Well, I think
all
he
the
did try to
XP
run
he can
first
get.
turn.
Yeah.
He did try to run first turn, but this is, I mean, that's level 27 right there. I think there's a certain amount of nerves even now,
Yeah.
though. You can see every once in a while he takes a misstep or a missed potion. Skips on the EXP of Pinatas, though.
He gets the ambush there and is able to run
Yeah.
first turn, so
First turn run. Nice.
I'll let you call the
he's-
Fiends here, buddy.
There you go. Okay, I can do that. And yeah, he does what we were suggesting for Zeno, although Zeno had the gear to basically ignore all of our advice. He's moving the Black Mage around because Black Mage is worthless in comparison. Gets to cast fast, goes for a swing, goes for a white shirt. Just gonna hope that Kraken doesn't first turn his fighter. Nope, goes for that meat shield. That's down. 3 hits for 301, already cranking out the damage. Gonna go with another white shirt cast. That's 2 stacks of evade right here for the fighter. Fighter comes out swinging with that Maza. Second hit, 4 hits, 360. Kraken takes a swing against the red mage, but the red mage is still standing. Gonna white shirt again. Another swing of the Maza. 2 hits or 3 hits for 237. That is enough to get that glass cannon down. And Kraken is out. Gonna heal up the red mage, and we're gonna see what he decides to do about that black mage in just a sec. Doesn't heal him yet. Gets the first turn run on the Twilight Party pack, able to get away from it, but is ambushed by the Nightmare Evilman pack. Thankfully, they don't do a whole bunch of anything this time around.
I'm excited to see this
Just-
Tia fight.
Yes. I want to see how this goes, because we know Tia has, like, no health.
Mhm.
The long contemplation, do I burn a heal pot? Is it even worth it? It is not. Nice!
So,
Fast cast, come out swinging, and a white shirt. Oh,
it does not look like WAB has lock, to answer a question from chat. So that could be problematic
Oh.
in the Chaos fight.
that is. That's problematic right here, because Tiamat was 4 hits for 47 damage, or 5 hits for 47 damage, and was like, nah, don't care. That your hits might be okay, but the absorb, I'm not going to worry about
this
that.
is a Vorpal fight for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want the extra criticals, because if Maza's just not cranking out those criticals here. And unfortunately, Vorpal is blocked to him.
There's a hit.
There's unfortunately also a hit.
Uh,
Yeah,
does it-
I think you're right. I think this chaos is going to be a whole day and pray kind of fight. There we go. He lucks out that Tiamat doesn't have all that much health. 5 hits for 140 after all that chip damage, and he manages to get through. And avoids any unrunnable airs.
That's the best case scenario for WAB right here. So we've got
Mhm.
2 heal pots left. Time to get creative with our resources.
I don't know that I would move that. Yeah, no, I would not move that white shirt at all. Bring him up. No cure spells whatsoever. Throws a single heal pot on the black mage. I don't know if I would have done that, but I can see the reasoning.
It will allow it to
Try-
survive like a lightning too if one comes out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That fast cast, swing, and a white shirt. 37 damage from a single hit. Slow 2 hits the black mage. He needed that. White shirt, fast. Gonna get extra swings at least. Maybe be able to, like, get the damage out there one way or another. 1 hit for 58 damage from Kraken Chaos. Temper comes off. White shirt comes off. Swing. 3 hits for 450, 445. You can see the difference between this Masamune versus the X-Cal that we had before. White Shirt comes out again, really getting those evade casts, and we know that Chaos can't hit for much now. Temper hit comes out, 3 hits, 231, I believe, and a Lightning 2. There you go, that Black Mage did survive that, so we can do yet another Temper cast right there. Gonna swing Temper and White Shirt yet again. 3 hits, 601 damage. That is big right there. What he needs to make sure is that Chaos continues with these spells and with his hits. Black Mage goes down. Red Mage is on his knees. Gonna continue with the Tempers. Miss right there is not what he wanted.
And
Bane,
that nuke
Bane
is coming.
thankfully, though. Yeah.
So
that nuke is gonna be here soon. A hit for 121. Temper comes out with a swing. 135 damage on a single hit. White Shirt, another swing. 4 hits for 821. Unfortunately, oh no! That's the nuclear right there. 2 big rolls, wipes out both of his party members. And we see in chat that he has forfeited. I think he just needs to spell it.
yeah. So we'll get him a link to come join us in chat.
Yeah, we're just getting him to finish out there. And that is the official forfeit right there at 12:05 p.m. That's unfortunate to see, but he fought his heart out there. That Chaos 2 was just, that was a night-only Chaos 2, honestly. Just the way that worked, you needed the Clash.
Yeah.
So we have Harv88 in chat asking if there's going to be another match after this. There will be several more matches after this. We've got over on our Randomania, no, Speed Game.
Yeah, Speed Gaming 4.
Speed Gaming 4, thank you. We're everywhere. There's going to basically be a marathon of Final Fantasy Randomizer all day for the rest of today. We are joined in chat by Wab.
GG, Wab.
Oof.
GG's.
Yeah. GG.
That was rough.
That was a brutal seed for you, man.
Yeah. So, was this a boat seed, or did I skip Marsh and regret it?
So, Zen0bian did find the floater, but he found it very late. It was in Earth 4. So he was in go mode, still opening boxes, I'm assuming looking for Masa, hoping to find that floater, because we had all that wonderful stuff that was locked behind promotion. So he found it in Earth 4 behind the adamant, which led to the herb, which led to the floater.
Ouch. All right.
But he did not have the Masa, so you did have that advantage on him going through that Temple of Fiends. You had a much easier go of it until Chaos, because his promoted party had a lot more resources. They had fades, they had nukes. They
Gotcha.
Had, he didn't have fast, though. I think he dropped the fast spell. I forgot that it was in Crescent Lake, but
all right.
it was a good clean run from your Wab all the way through it. Like, I think the only thing that started to bite you was not turning in that crystal when you could have, and doing all of Sky before turning in the crystal.
Yeah, I spent so much time in Sky and then ended up wiping at the end, and that was where I was like, oh,
Heartbreaking.
well, we'll just throw this away, I guess.
Absolute heartbreak
It was still competitive. I think you watch this VOD back, you'll see some of the stuff that Darkman and I were talking about. There's been a few changes to the randomizer that might change the way you prioritize spells and stuff. Like the lock spell is very effective now, especially on Chaoses like that roll that max evasion, and that's what Zen0bian was able to use to get through it by melting off that evasion with a lot of successful lock casts.
Okay.
Yeah,
there was a do you know about how much HP Chaos had?
a lot. Yeah,
A lot, yeah.
Okay, so that, like, those 2 misses there in the middle, that probably wouldn't have made a difference then.
Actually,
I mean, at times you were cranking out, like, I think you're getting like 3 to almost 600 damage depending upon your hits right there. If the criticals lined your way and you hadn't missed instead, you might have had them close.
Okay.
I'm actually going to pull it up real quick. I just downloaded the ROM from the race room. Chaos, now that we're through the race, we can spoil what Chaos had. Chaos had 3,662 HP with an agility of 207. So
wow.
The other thing that you were fortunate to not see was after that Bane, he had that Lightning 2 that we saw. The next spell in the chamber was a nuke. And this was a nuclear poison, nuclear inferno chaos. So
rough.
Rolled 3 hits with an 88 strength and 74 absorb, so even pretty high absorb too. So
gotcha. Well,
nasty
I think
chaos.
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, I know a lot of people like to complain about seeds and whatnot, but I guess this is the type of seed that I'd like to see. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel pretty good about, you know, the seeds where there's stuff in weird places, like a canal deep in Volcano, or you know, you get a canoe and you don't know what to do. Like, these are the type of seeds that I think I'd like to see. Like, those are the ones where I'm like, all right, let's see who knows what's on the map, and let's see like where we need to go with this. Like, I like it when it's a little bit more open and a little bit more falls closer to the very confusing category than the like relatively straightforward.
Yeah, you race strong. So Wab, you shaking the rust off it. Very strong competitor going into the 0-1 pool. I know I may be joining you there soon, so I'm not looking forward to a potential matchup with you. Racing strong, looking good. I think you're gonna bounce back pretty quickly from this. So it was,
thank you.
It's very nice of you to race, man.
I hope we do get to race, Caleb. I hope we do get to race.
Me too, buddy. So Wab, we're gonna cut the broadcast short so we can go raid Speed Gaming 4 as they're getting set up to. Looks like Burt Reynolds and Rojo might already be going. Final thoughts on the Seed Spring Tournament, welcoming you back. Let us know what you think, man.
Yeah, well, I just want to throw a quick thank you out to Caleb and Darkmoon for doing the cast. Thanks to Danny for tracking. As always, you are the champion, I think. And then I don't know. I'm excited for these seeds. I know there's a lot of varied opinions out there about this, but I think I like these seeds, I think, better than last year's Spring Flag seeds. So I think it'll be really interesting to see kind of how things develop as people get more used to these flags, and as the incentivized Fiend dungeon location changes throughout the course of everything. Mm-hmm. I think that'll really help anyone who's kind of in that medium tier and below to kind of develop their skills a little bit more, which I definitely see myself in. So I'm looking forward to that. So I think it should be a good tournament overall. And I'm excited that there are so many people. It's so awesome. Welcome to anyone who's new or anyone who hasn't seen it before. It's great.
Yeah, it's a huge pool. We have 74 racers, 37 matches a week. If you want to come out and help us out with these broadcasts, you're more than welcome to join the Discord, get chatted up with a race crew role, join Darkmoon and I in the booth, join Danny, learn how to track these races. We can use all the help we can get getting these things crewed. But as for me, I'm going to pass the mic to Darkmoon and let him take us home.
Oh, all right. Well, make sure to follow your runners, wab1024 and Zen0bian. Of course, follow the crew behind the scenes making all of this happen. Ray Fates Caleb, Danny3883, and myself, Darkmoon Firelight on Twitch. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure to give Speed Gaming a follow as well. They have been so good to host so much of this current tournament for us, and they are going to be cranking out more of our matches all day today and throughout the next few weeks. For myself, from Caleb, and everyone else here in the booth, I want to thank Speed Gaming. I want to thank all of you for watching. We're going to be transferring you over to Speed Gaming 4 shortly, but again, have fun, enjoy the matches, and we will see you next time.